Hello and welcome back to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel, and indeed welcome back to Ford Fridays. Today we're going to be looking at the Ford Capri Mark II. Welcome back to Quarterlight, and if you are into car brochures, this is a car brochure channel, so please do consider subscribing. And of course, happy Friday. Today is Ford Fridays, kind of like a run we've been doing for a couple of weeks now, featuring a Ford each Friday. Let me know in the comments if you want us to continue doing that or not. After all, this is your channel and I like to put content of what people like to see, as well as my favourite cars too. Now, Ford Fridays today, the Ford Capri Mark II. First introduced in 1974, it ran till 1978, and some could say it's probably the least popular Capri, almost like the forgotten Capri in many ways. The Capri itself was built by Ford of Europe, and it was designed by Philip T. Clark, who also incidentally had a hand in designing the Ford Mustang. Now, the Mark II Capri came out at a time when there was a fuel crisis throughout the world, really, not just in the UK, and Ford decided to design a more practical vehicle, shorter bonnet, even though it was still a huge bonnet, shorter bonnet, larger cab, introduction of a hatchback, which was clever. This was a time when hatchbacks were becoming ever more popular, and it was what people wanted, and it was Ford's first try at a hatchback. Of course, many more hatchbacks to come. So the Mark II Capri, the brochure today is from 1977, so coming to the end of the run of the Mark II. So let's have a look at that now. Okay, so this Ford Cars brochure is one you're familiar with if you're familiar with Ford Fridays on Quarterlight. Ford Cars, October 1977. Let me just move my cup of tea out the way to get me through the episode. I really need to get a Quarterlight mug made, really, don't I? But this cat cup, well, it's kind of suiting, really, as if you are familiar with the channel. There are always some cats in the background at some point in time. But anyway, back to today's episode. Yeah, it's this same Ford Cars book. We've looked at the Fiesta. We've looked at the Mark II Ford Escort. Now, when we came to the end of the Ford Escort, what's in the next in the range of the Ford in 77? Of course, it's our old favourite, the Ford Cortina. We've featured this a few times. We might come back to it at some point, but for now we're going to skip past the Cortina and go straight to the Capri, because I think the Cortina's had quite a bit of airtime recently, although I'm sure it will feature again at some point. So here it is, the Mark II Ford Capri. Like I say, often the forgotten Capri, very recognisable with these two large rectangular Hella H4 headlamps up front. And we'll look at the various range. Great colour, this gold, it always reminds me of the 70s when it's in this gold colour, which I think really suits the car. And I guess because this is a October 77, it's quite an autumnal colour with this falling leaves. We'll have a read of some of this text, have we? Okay, so the Ford Capri. The Capri is a car in a class by itself. It's something special, something different, something unique. It combines sports car style, flair and excitement with an estate car practicality. Exhilarating performance with down-to-earth economy. Capri 1300 and Capri 1300L now comes equipped with a 1300 economy engine as standard. It's kind of like strange, isn't it, going straight from talking about exhilarating performance to talking about the 1.3. Smooth, quiet comfort and sensible versatility. The third door, flexible carrying capacity and easy transformation from 2 to 3 to 4 seater. Plus, it's way ahead of any possible rivals. The Capri range consists of the Capri 1300, L, GL, S and Capri Gear. The Capri is a car in a class by itself, especially when it comes to economy and value for money. And as we saw at the start there is that lovely Capri and the caption, in a class of its own. Of course, the Capri, when it first came out, it was always advertised as the car you always promised yourself. Now it's just saying in a class of its own, showing that this is kind of like a unique car to buy. Although they were rivals, of course. So we start off with the base models. First of all, the 1300, not even an L, and the 1300L. Or 1600L, incidentally, you could have it as either. We'll have a look at some of these little pictures, some of these captions. This kind of like image of this bike being put in this very useful hatchback always reminds me when I had a Capri. I had a Mark III though, and I used to go cycling, and a bike used to fit really nicely in there. So it kind of like reminds me of those times. But anyway, let's look at some of these captions. So your base model at this time is your Capri 1300, sports car style for the price of a family saloon. So you've got a 1300 economy engine, servo assisted front disc brakes, fabric trim, heated rear window, radial ply tyres and intermittent windscreen wiper control. And there it is, easily identifiable with this black bumper and black wing mirror and these sort of like poverty caps on the wheels. Although interestingly, the bumpers turned black on the Mark III anyway, didn't they? But at this time, the base model had this very simple look to it. Still a big bonnet or hood, if you prefer, for a car with just a little tiny 1300 engine. In fact, my mum had a Capri 1300. It was the Mark III though, and when you lifted that bonnet up, the engine looks so small in there. But still, I've got a soft spot for these 1300 models nevertheless. As we move up, we get to the L trim. The L could be a 1300 or a 1600 engine. We've now got this nicer bumper and nice little bright finished mirror, as you can see, and your various pictures of putting the bikes in. The practicality of that hatchback is very evident, as is this very nice. Considering this is only an L, it does look like a nice interior, doesn't it? So the L could be a 1300 or 1600, split squab folding rear seats, sports road wheels, reclining front seats, carpeted load area. So I think it was probably worth moving up to the L. I don't know what the price difference between the two, but I think it was worth saving up a little bit more and going for that L model, because it certainly looks a lot more than this base model, although I probably want this base model now because it looks so much of a poverty model, doesn't it? And I quite like very lowly spec'd models. I'm kind of like a bit weird like that. So specifications, I'm just going to put them side by side. I'm not going to read all this. I'm just going to leave it on there. You can pause the screen if you want to, if you do want to read all this, but I don't want to make the video too long by reading all this out, but it shows the different equipment levels on there. Interesting, it's saying the car is illustrated. So the 1300 is in a colour called Nevada Beige with black fabric, and the L is in Strator Silver with black fabric trim. Metallic paint, of course, is an optional extra cost. And it goes this nice little diagram, if I can move that up, of the two models side by side, the 1300 and the L side by side. So you can identify the difference, I guess, but there's not a huge difference on that little picture. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so they are the base model Capris. If we turn the page, we go up the range to the GL in this lovely gold colour. Step up now, we're looking at 1600s or 2 litres in this range. So let's have a look at that now. So here we go, the Capri GL for people who do things in style. 1600 or 2 litre engine, halogen headlamps, tailgate wash wipe, centre console incorporating clock, reclining front seats with special trim, additional sound installation, and a Ford push button radio. And there it is in all its glory with this young lady lying all over it for whatever reason, I'm not sure. Again, showing the practicality of the hatchback with the folding seats. More images of the Capri with a lady, another lady, and another picture by the seat. But overall, it is an attractive looking car, and like it says, the addition of this wiper, the much needed wiper. Again, the specifications if you're interested. You can always pause this if you really want to read all this in detail. I'm saying the car illustrated is a Capri GL in oyster gold with tan fabric trim. Options fitted, metallic paint, and a remote control driver's door mirror. Ooh, the luxuries. Okay, so let's move up the range a little bit further to the Capri S. Kind of like my favourite Capri, this one. The Capri S, as it says, sporty looks, sporty performance. So, like I said, this brochure is from 77. May 76, sales were starting to decrease. The 3 litre GT disappeared, and that gave way to the 3 litre S and the gear, which we'll see on the next page. Although the S, you could actually have it as a 1.6, a 2 litre, or that 3 litre V6. But certainly my favourite of the range at this time. But let's have a look at some of this information. Everyone's favourite, the Capri S, with this rather nice little stripe that goes around, which looks very nice. Choice of 3 engines on the S, so you can have a 1600, 2 litre, or that big 3 litre V6. Alloy road wheels, special seats with head restraints, special interior trim, twin door mounted rear view mirrors, power steering on the 3 litre model, special body side coach lines, Ford push button radio, and a front air dam. It's interesting, isn't it, in this brochure? It's always the same theme. If you get the sporty version, you get twin door mounted rear view mirrors, which is a strange thing that only the sporty model had that one. I'm not quite sure why. Lovely seats, particularly in this amber colour. Those orange seats really look nice together. A larger picture, and you can really see that very nice stripe down it, which I quite like. And of course, it looks like this particular one is the 2 litre. It's hard to make out, but it looks like that's the 2 litre model featured. Of course, it's really showing that hatchback again, how practical. And I remember they were practical. As a single person owning a Capri, that hatchback did make it a very practical car. Specifications, as always. I'm just going to run through that quickly. It says, as Capri 1300 with the following items. And the interior equipment above a 1300. Colour, it's saying it's in signal amber with orange caded fabric trim. Optional fitted on this particular model are that signal paint, remote control driver's door mirror and a sliding roof. Hard to make out the sliding roof, but there must be a little bit of a colour coded roof on there, but you know, more or less impossible to see. Let's move up the range still further, and as I mentioned, the Capri Ghia. Quite an unusual, pretty rare car now today. You can certainly straight away notice that extra little bit of a chrome line on the front grille. You've got wood, you know, typical Ghia fashion. We've moved up the range, but I particularly like this model with the twin exhaust, the 3-litre V6 version. You can have this as a 2-litre or that 3-litre V6. Let's have a look at that now. Okay, your luxury model, your Capri Ghia. So super luxury, super performance, so your 2-litre or the 3-litre V6, vinyl roof, lightweight alloy road wheels, sunshine roof with tilting device, remote control door mirror, door mounted rear view mirror, tinted glass all round, special front seats with integral head restraints, special interior trim, Ford push button radio, power steering and automatic transmission available on the 1300s. Gives you a look at these, what look like very nice comfortable seats, although there wasn't a huge amount of room in the back of a Capri. Look at this sort of like extra bit of a chrome line on the Ghia. Looks like we've got 3-litre badging on this one, so this will be the 3-litre version. Typical wood trim, okay, so this is the automatic 3-litre, I guess. Look at the front seats with those nice integral head restraints, which look very nice. The rear of it, yeah, this is 3-litre, so the twin exhaust pipes looking very menacing. And of course, a picture of a lady and that sunshine roof. Specifications as follows. So it's comparing it with the base model there, so extra equipment's on the base model, and the interior extra equipment's over and above that base model. Colour of this one, Jupiter Red. I like Jupiter Red, I've seen that a few times, with black vinyl roof and tan Verona fabric trim. Metallic paint at an extra cost. And then finally, we get to the back page. We've got specifications. We're going to have a look at that now, and you can glimpse here the new Ford Granada has arrived at this time as well. But let's stick with the Capri. Let's look at these specifications. Okay, your Capri specifications running from that 1300 economy all the way to the 3-litre. So performance wise, what have we got here? Maximum speeds range from 85 for that 1300 economy to 121 for the 3-litre model. 0 to 60 runs from 21.6, extremely slow on that 1300, to a respectable 8.2 seconds on the 3-litre, making it a pretty quick car. Certainly by the 70 standards anyway. As the camera kind of struggles a bit to focus, but there we go. So optional equipment on the various models. The blue square, of course, is optional. The sort of square is standard equipment. So I'm not going to read it all, but that gives you an idea, an easy look at some of that equipment. It also gives you a little bit of an idea of the seating arrangement, so basically showing you that the base 1300 doesn't have that split fold option. So there we go, the Ford Capri. Let me know of your memories of the Ford Capri, whatever it was. Probably getting stuck in the snow somewhere and putting something heavy in the back to keep the back end down. But whatever it is, please do share your comments. I always do enjoy reading those. The week is finally over. Hooray for Friday. Here in Canada, it's been minus 30 pretty much every day this week. Wind chill values in the minus 40s. So tomorrow promises to be a minus 7 day. So that's something to look forward to. Amazing when you're looking forward to a minus 7 day, but that's Canada for you. But for now, we'll say please do enjoy your weekend, whatever you do. Please do like, subscribe, comment. We'll say take care, and we'll see you very soon. Bye bye.